Most people will analyze and analyze and analyze and analyze, and they never choose. And because they never choose, life passes them by, and then they end up at 50 years old saying coulda, woulda, shoulda. No, you should just pick some, and whatever happens, you learn, and then you apply again. And so that's the process of development. We make the best decision that we can make right now. We listen to our gut. We look at the facts. We make it on logic. There's very few decisions in life that should be made around emotion. We make those decisions. We go down the path. We figure out if it's working or not, and then we make pivots. And that's just how it goes, man. And when you don't have all that experience, it's natural to second guess yourself. So we all go through this. It's not just you. We all go through a transition period where, all the way up until maybe we're done with college, we're kind of getting told what to do and how to do it. And then, some people younger than others, there's always, nuance. But typically, when we are in our young to mid-20s, we are learning how to make decisions, feeling the consequences of those decisions, and either building up our trust in ourselves or taking away. And what I would say to you is that the fact that you're aware of this is a huge advantage, because most people aren't aware. They just continue to make bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, meaning they're making whatever decision they need to make that makes them feel good now. They don't understand delayed gratification. They don't understand thinking ahead of what the decision will actually produce down the road. And the fact that you're aware of this at a young age is really, 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 really good. It's a good indicator that you are going to build a very good skill set of making the right decisions when these decisions are to be made. So you have to understand that your confidence and your belief in yourself is really only going to come after you've made good decision after good decision after good decision, and then a few bad ones too, right? And then we learn from those lessons, and then we become either very confident or we stay unaware. We don't get really beat down, because the people who continue to make wrong decision after wrong decision, they see life as something that's like happening to them. Like they are not thinking like, I'm making this decision in November and then in December my life sucks. They're not understanding that. They're unaware. So making bad decisions doesn't necessarily destroy someone's confidence. It destroys their life. So the fact that you are understanding that there is a decision to be made, there are consequences down the road, that's a great thing. But the way you're going to become confident in it is by making the best decision that you can make now, and then understanding, what the result of that is with your own experience. And as you get older and as you go through this process, you will become more and more and more confident in your decisions. And that goes for both your life and your career or whatever else you're working on. There's still times in my life, knowing what I know about business, where I'm like, I don't know. Like, what should we do? And then we work out the options and we make the best decision. And when we make the best decision, that doesn't always mean it actually is the best decision. Sometimes you just have to make a decision, see what happens, and then make an adjustment, which I would say is really how things actually work in life. Not many times have I made a decision when I was young that worked out exactly the way I thought it was going to work out. What it did is it directed me in a right direction. And then when I went down that path, I had to make multiple pivots as I went down the path to really get where I was trying to go. But the important thing, the real important thing here is not even the question that you ask. It's that you have to make a fucking decision. Okay? Most people will analyze and analyze and analyze and analyze, and they never choose. And because they never choose, life passes them by, and then they end up at 50 years old saying coulda, woulda, shoulda. No, you should just pick some shit, and whatever happens, you learn, and then you apply again. And so that's the process of development. we make the best decision that we can make right now. We listen to our gut. We look at the facts. We make it on logic. There's very few decisions in life that should be made around emotion. We make those decisions. We go down the path. We figure out if it's working or not, and then we make pivots. And that's just how it goes, man. And I know that, like, you guys consume all of this information all day on Instagram from all these people who legitimately haven't done a motherfucking thing telling you how to do things and what their philosophy is, or this or that or this. I would encourage you to listen to what people say who have actually accomplished what it is you want to do and live the kind of life that you want to live, and ignore all these theoretical bozos on the internet who honestly don't know shit, because if they did, they would be not just writing memes on the internet. Right. Okay? So make the decision, make it the best you can, go down the path. When you recognize that the decision is not working, which you have to be patient, you make a pivot, or you make a complete different directional change. You don't make a complete different directional change until you've tried multiple pivots and you realize this isn't going to work, right? Like, a lot of people will ask me, they say, well, when should I quit? When should I quit my business? You know, I've got this product. Look, dude, if you go down the path and you figure out for real that product is not going to get you where you want to go, meaning you can't scale it, there's no demand for it, it's not a good, strong product, eventually you got to find a new product, or you're just going to be trying to stick a square peg in a round hole. It does not work. So there are times that I don't talk about this very much, but there are times when you have to make complete directional changes. The reason I don't talk about it very much is because most people think that happens soon, when in reality, you have to go down the path and try all the different routes. It's kind of like a mouse in a maze, all right? Like, you're like, oh, I know the cheese is over that way, so I'm gonna fucking go this way. That didn't get me there. I'm gonna go this way. That didn't get me there. And then I'm gonna find the way to the fucking cheese. Yeah. And like, if you don't go through that process with your product to the point where you have a really good understanding of why it's not going to work, not just your emotional beliefs or your frustration or your anger or your impatience, meaning you logically can say, there's not a market for this, it's not going to be scalable, it's not going to work out the way I want, then you have to make a change. And that goes for anything. You can plug product in with relationship. You can plug product in with fitness, okay? You got to figure the fuck out. And here's what I'll say, if one person's done it, you could probably do it too. So the decision-making process and having confidence in that is something, it's one of those things that you have to do your best and work out the nuances to get where you're trying to go. And after you do that enough and you make enough good decisions, you'll start to trust yourself and you'll say, I know how to make the right decisions. Like, my decision-making ability now versus when I was 25 is, you know, the difference between, you know, starting at zero and being, you know, an expert.
You're running circles around that guy.
Oh, dude, no doubt. Right. Because I've already made all the mistakes. Like, dude, if you're trying to get somewhere and, you know, like, if I'm trying to get from here in St. Louis to LA, and over the last 20 years, I took every motherfucking road. Well, you know, and then you ask me when I'm 20 years later, you say, how to get there? I'm gonna say, right, like there. That's the road right there.
Don't go down this road.
Yeah.
It's fucking
and by the way, this ties into why it's important to learn from people who have had real business experience, not just built real things, but built real things in different environments. You know, like, I was pre-internet. Then we were right when the internet came. Then we were when social media came. Then we were through the 2008 financial crisis. Then we went through fucking COVID. Now we're going through AI revolution. Like, bro, I've been through all that shit, and we're still here. We're still going. There's a lot of valuable information, most of it, that I can provide that none of these other motherfuckers can. You see what I'm saying?
100%.
So it's really important that, you know, I'm not saying you just have to listen to me, but I am saying that whoever you listen to needs to have been through all of those things, because, dude, the real truth about being successful is the ability to adapt quickly, right? The ability to pivot quickly when things happen. And that's decision making.
For sure. Last little piece on this, I want to ask you, very simple question here. When it comes down to decision making, I guess what's one thing, if there's an equation to decision making, right? The perfect equation. What's one thing that is not in that equation?
Usually emotions.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Look, there are certain ways. There's certain times in your life where making an emotional decision is okay. All right, but most of the time you want to eliminate emotions from the situation. For example, I like cars. Mm-hmm. So people will say, well, you don't fucking need those. No shit. I don't need those cars. Motherfucker, I don't need a car. I live 4 miles from work. I can ride a fucking bike. Okay? But the experience that I get from the cars adds to the quality of my life. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I am willing to invest money, because my cars appreciate for the most part, into that quality of life experience, which is tied into my emotions, right? Yeah. If I was unemotional about that decision, I would ride a bike because I could legitimately ride a bike. Or maybe I could ride a motorcycle or whatever, right? A scooter. If you're talking practicality, you're correct. I don't need any of those cars, but it's fucking cool to have them. Okay, and it makes my life more enjoyable to me. I like driving. I like performance driving. I like knowing about cars. I like feeling good when I pull up somewhere that I'm getting out of some cool shit. That shit makes me feel good. And you could say whatever the fuck you want. I'm honest with myself enough to understand that. So that's an emotional decision that makes my life better. Where you live, people will say, well, you need to, when you're young, it's very important to make the correct, logical decision about where you decide to live, because you are working on accumulating assets and wealth for later in your life. When I got to 38 years old, I bought my dream house, which is the house I live in now. And it's fucking amazing. It's probably real talk, it's probably one of the nicest properties in the whole fucking world. Okay? It's a fucking real compound. Do I need that? No, but I love it, because you know what? I spend a lot of time there. I spend most of my time either here or there. And by the way, did I need to build out this headquarters to look the way it looks? No, but I have to spend a lot of time here, and I want it to be fucking cool. Okay? So those are emotional decisions that don't necessarily make financial sense. All right? For the amount of money that I put in my house, I'm going to get my balls kicked in when I sell it.
You ever try to sell it?
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But I don't care. I don't care, because I've made enough money in my life to not have that make a difference on what I actually want. So earlier in life, it's important, especially to make logical decisions. I would say under 40 years old. Logic. Unless you're earning so much money, and I was in my earlier 30s, that it didn't fucking matter, okay? But you shouldn't be stretching. You understand?
Right.
So when you get a little older and you get some financial power and maybe a little extra, it's okay to make decisions that are emotional if they make you happier.
As long as you're aware that it is.
That's it. You have to be aware. Yeah. Most people just aren't, bro. They cannot separate a logical decision from an emotional decision in which is appropriate. So it's okay to make emotional decisions when they're not going to hurt you, and then they're going to add to your life, right? But until you're at that point where it's not a financial strain to live the lifestyle that you want, you should live very logical and be working to maximize, what sort of income that you actually have. Live below your means, make smart decisions. Don't go out to eat all the time. Drive a car that isn't the one that you actually really like to drive. Those are all intelligent decisions as a younger person. As you get older, you start to realize, well, fuck, I'm going to be dead. The quality of my life matters as well. So I want to spend a little more money on the things that I like and enjoy, so I'm not just, it's weird to me. I see like 70, 80-year-old people, 60-year-old people, 50-year-old people still living completely in that logic mindset. And and we see them online too, right? Like, Dave Ramsey, okay? And I like Dave Ramsey, but he will give, save. This. Well, dude, eventually these motherfuckers are gonna be dead. Yeah. Like, when do they get a taste of what they actually want?
All the hard work they've put in.
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
And let's be real, bro. He has like a fucking $500-600 million fucking office park.
Right.
Dave lives in a nice house.
Yeah.
So he gets it.
Yeah.
But I think he's saying the same thing I'm saying, just in a different way.
For sure.
We make smart decisions until we are in a place where we can afford to make emotional decisions. You have no idea until you know. All right? There's been people who have all the fucking check marks and all the attributes and all the special shit, and they suck. Okay? And then you have people who are borderline special needs who create amazing
crush it. Yeah, right.
Dude, I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know a guy who could not fucking read or write, that because he was an executor, he would just go out and do shit. He did not think about it. He didn't have the brain capacity to think about it, okay? He just did shit, and he built a company that was worth $200-300 million, okay? Now, he made some other bad decisions, and that guy is now in prison.
Yeah.
But it didn't have to do with fraudulent business. He was running a good business. But my point is, there's guys like that everywhere, all right? So just because you fucking think you can do it, and just because, a lot of like people who went to nice prestigious universities like Harvard or Brown or Cornell, they think they can do it. But you know what the truth is? The truth is there is a lot of motherfuckers with some fancy initials behind their name that never did shit. All right. So I don't really give a fuck what you think you can do until you've shown me that you can do it.
Proof's in the pudding.
So let's be humble here, bro.
Yeah.
You're talking about the most competitive fucking game that you could possibly play. All right? People are trying to take the food off of your fucking table. Can you even handle that? Can you even handle knowing that? Can you handle the relentless pursuit that other people have of you, trying to take your fucking livelihood? Then can you handle it for fucking thousands of people? Okay? You can't. Most of the time. That's why the statistics are what they are. 8% of people are entrepreneurs. Less than fucking 1% of that 8% is actually a millionaire or successful. All right? So let's clear that out. Now, I'm not saying you can't learn it. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying you can learn to be great at it. But I'm saying if you think you're naturally great at it, you've never done shit, you're fucking fooling yourself. So let's address that right up front.
Love it.
Secondly, when you're young, I believe that in the entrepreneurship stage that we are in, it's important for you to try a few different things, examine what it is that you're into. Okay, you might say, oh, I'm not passionate about this. What do you do every day? Let's start there. What is your daily routine like? What do you do every single day? I get up, I brush my teeth, I take a shower, I go to the gym, I do this, I do that. What's the one thing that you can't live without, that you find extremely beneficial to you and your day? What is it? And when you identify those 3 or 4 things, how could they be made better? Okay? And start thinking like that in everything that you see. Like when I go to a restaurant, I'm not in the restaurant business, but you've been to enough restaurants with me to know exactly what the fuck I do. Yep. I sit at the table, I order the food, and I say they should have done this, should have done that, should have done this. If these guys were doing this, they'd have 5 times much business.
Yeah, right,
I fucking do that. I analyze how everyone does everything, and that is a trained way of thinking that I've had for many, many years, because who knows what kind of idea will come from that. So to say you're not passionate about anything, I don't even think that's true. I think there's things that you are passionate about. You've just not thought about how you could make them better or how you could sell them as a product. And I would encourage you to do that. Third of all, you don't have to be passionate about fucking anything. You could be passionate about making motherfucking money. okay? But I will say this, that while that is cool, when you don't have any money to start making money and you say, fuck, I love making money, you will eventually get to a point where if you are doing it just for that, you will be burnt out, you will hate your life, you will be miserable, and you will be searching for meaning and purpose in something that you do. And so the reason that we recommend people be passionate about things when they start is because there is a lag time where you start the business and where it becomes successful that is very hard for people to get through. And most of the time, the only reason people can get through that part of the business is because they actually care about what the fuck they're doing. So if you are passionate about something that you are actually building a business around, your chances of sticking it out during this lag time go up.
Right.
All right. So, and I will say this, even the thing you're most passionate about, over the course of time, you're going to go in and out of being passionate about that. There's been many times in my life where I haven't been passionate about what I do every day, and then got out of that funk and got more passionate again, and then back and forth and back and forth. That's normal. And a lot of people, the first time that happens, the first time they lose a little, they get in one of those funks, they're like, fuck, I don't have this passion for it anymore. And then they fucking quit and they got to go start over. If you just stick with it, dude, it'll come back. So we see a lot of people fail in that regard during those times when we don't feel great about what we're doing. And it's just normal. Don't do that. But yeah, man, if I were you, instead of saying, you know, I'm not passionate about anything, I would say, well, I need to really examine what it is I would like to do if I only had to do this every single day of my life for free. Okay. And I can say that, like, I love helping people. I love people getting better. I like making people better with their finances, with their fitness, their mindset. I do this shit for free. Yeah. You know, I love this shit. So even like for me, even if you were to ask me, like, what would you do every day if you didn't get paid for it? I would still do the same shit. I'd come in here, I'd help where I can, I'd do the show, and, you know, I would find fulfillment in that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you're in the beginning stages and you can't figure out what your passion is, you need to get passionate about making some fucking money, and you need to save that money so that you can roll it into something that you are passionate about whenever you do become passionate about it. And then you can build a business out from there.
I love it. Now, you started when you were 19.
Yeah.
How many, what were some of the other, I guess, pathways you tried before you settled with S2?
I tried to buy into this internet yellow pages situation, because before Google, there was no way to search the internet. So like everything back in the day was you had to pull out a fucking phone book and you had to like look for shit.
You're right.
Okay?
Right.
Kids now can't even comprehend that.
No, there was a book that had everybody's number in it.
Everybody's. Right. And in businesses, it would be categorized.
Yeah, right.
It would also be sorted by their name. Mm-hmm. There was a yellow pages and there was a white pages. The yellow pages was sorted by category. The white pages was sorted by name. All right. And you got two for free. You got one of each for free at your house every single year. All right.
That is crazy to think about.
That's what they did.
Okay. Now it's all here on your phone.
Hold on, bro. But when the internet started to get popular, Google hadn't really matured into what it is today. And there certainly wasn't AI or anything like that. Sure. So this dude created this thing called Internet Yellow Pages, and he sold out franchises. I tried that. Didn't fucking work, okay? I had to go door to door to businesses and try to get them to sign up for something that nobody really understood was going to be beneficial at all.
Yeah. So
that was a failed thing. I tried an internet dating service. That was a failed thing. I tried fucking, you know.
Wasn't there something about tanning beds or some shit?
Yeah, tanning beds. Yeah. Couldn't get enough money to do it. You know, painting the stripes on parking lots. Yeah. You know, could never get enough money to do that on our own. You know, I mean, bro, I could go on and on and on. I had a different fucking thing every single year trying to build something out. From the time I was 8 until the time I started, with Chris S2, right? And so none of those things was I really passionate about except the baseball card thing that I did. But, I didn't know enough about, I was only like fucking 10 when I did that, right? But yeah, dude, I mean, most of the shit, and by the way, I still know a lot of the lessons I learned through that process, which allowed me to create the retail stores, which is what bore First Form. And, it's no different than what I tell you guys. You're going to have to go through shit. I just started when I was real young, So, yeah, dude, there's a lot of shit. Like I did nightclub promotion for concerts when I was in college to try and make some side money, and that actually worked out okay. I made a little bit of money doing that to kind of float me through, not getting paid at the stores. But I mean, there's all kinds of things that honestly didn't work, but there's also things that could have worked had I
stuck with it.
Right. Well, look, it depends on what his operational goals are. Some people just want to be artists. Like what he's doing is an art to him. So when we think of, business, we have to understand that not everybody's trying to be a fucking billionaire. Not everybody's trying to be worth $100 million. Not everybody's even trying to make $1 million. They're just trying to not have to work a regular job that they don't get fulfillment out of. So it depends on what kind of person he is and what his goals are, because if he's just a one-man operation making super high quality shit, there's a lot of fulfillment in that. In fact, when we went down to see Jesse James is an artist. He's in his shop doing the work himself. Now, does he have people that do other things? Yes, absolutely. But he is an artist, and I think that, and I could be wrong, I think that he would do the shit for free. And I think he would do it on his own and do all of it on his own. And I bet he did for a long time. Yeah. And then, he realized, hey man, I want to make some fucking money doing this. So they expanded into an actual company. And dude, honestly, I think he's one of the best entrepreneurs out there that doesn't get the credit for being such a great entrepreneur. I mean, dude, he sold fucking like some sort of $1 billion worth of fucking apparel off of his brand. Like
crazy.
Yeah, like dude, he's crushed it. But at heart, he's an artist, right? And he loves the work and he gets fulfillment from the work. And so if your friend is one of these guys, he might be doing exactly what he wants. If you think that he's killing himself and he's saying, fuck, I'm so big, maybe he needs to hire, some executive assistant or somebody, a COO or a CEO that will run all the business affairs for him so he can focus on what he does best. Yeah. There's lots of solutions to this problem depending on where he wants to take it. But I just got to be real with you. I mean, some of my friends who are tremendous at what they do, they're just artists that make shit to sell, and they fucking love that. So if that's what he loves, leave him the fuck alone.